Hello and welcome back to Slaughter Talk. My name is Wilfred. On the agenda for today, we will be reviewing the final game of the U.S. Preseason Tour against Manchester United, and then we will touch base on the double headers of Liverpool v Sevilla and Las Palmas from Sunday. Then we'll switch over to look at the players who have been loaned out and sold so far, a look ahead to Ipswich and how their preseason has been going so far, and I will wrap up this episode with my final thoughts from the preseason. Looking at Liverpool vs Manchester United in South Carolina. Only one notable change, and that is Konate came in to replace Sepp Vandenberg at center back. In the first 15 minutes of the match, there was a ton of build-up for Liverpool that started with the center backs sucking the defense in and playing it to the sixes. Konate replacing Sepp Vandenberg meant he was playing the left side center back, which is not his natural position. Logging his first minutes, you could tell Konate was not comfortable with the role that he is requested to be played against Manchester United. A few bad passes early on is nothing uncharacteristic for Konate, but the places in which he turned the ball over could have been very detrimental early on. Liverpool really struggled to string together passes, turning the ball over early and often in their own half, giving Manchester United target practice on the goal. In the first 15 minutes, Kelleher had to make two great saves to keep Manchester United off the scoreboard. Most of the opportunities Manchester had early on were due to Liverpool creating their own issues. The moments where Liverpool were able to string together some passes and break through the Manchester United press were mainly generated from Gravenberch and Jones getting the ball in the midfield and making driving runs through the defense. Once Liverpool got on the break, the attack was very free-flowing. Players were moving, creating spaces for each other, just like how Liverpool scored their first goal. Ball up to Salah. Salah flips it out to Jota. Jota lays it off to Fabio Carvalho. Carvalho sits his defender down and scores his goal. For the second game in a row, Fabio finds the back of the net, and his composure in front of goal looks very good. One key thing to note is that this goal was scored off the counter press. Similar to the style under Klopp, when Liverpool lose the ball, they are quick to want to get the ball back. 10 minutes in, Liverpool go up 1-0, and Manchester United cannot be happy given how they have played the first 10 minutes of the match. During the second 15 minutes of the match, a few things to note. Kwanzaa, from his right center back position, was man-marking the attackers as they received the ball. This is not anything terrible to note, other than the fact that he was turned once after getting to the attacker late, which caused Manchester United to be on the attack. Luckily, Liverpool were able to squash the attack with good positioning and speed tracking back on the defense. For Gravenberch not playing in his natural position as a number 6, there were many times where he was winning the ball back on defense, tracking back, great work rate, being in good positioning, winning some sliding tackles. Gravenberch is given Slot serious consideration at being number 6 to start the season. Not to mention the roles that he is playing in driving through the defense when they do have the ball and finding some great passes. During the second 15 minutes, Elliott had two moments where he squandered the attack. One, he held onto the ball for too long and got it ripped from behind, and the other one, he made a pass too late that broke the flow of the counter. After not making the decision and getting the ball ripped, it seemed like Elliott got a little bit flustered as he was trying to make up for his error, where he played the wrong pass when it should have been out to Salah. One thing that I noticed is with Liverpool, when they turn the ball over, based on their build-up, the defense is very tight. This causes a lot of the build-up for the opposing team to be wide, pulling Liverpool out of positions a little bit and creating some openings in the middle. The role of the two center backs and the double sixes in Slot's system is going to be very important for stopping those opportunities as the ball comes into the middle. Gravenberch and Curtis Jones were very solid with their positioning to clear the ball and stop Manchester United from having an opportunity. When looking at set pieces from the defense, Manchester United were able to have their way with Liverpool in terms of getting the shot off or the look that they wanted based on the set piece. I know Liverpool did not have their normal starting 11 out there. It is a bit concerning when every set piece Manchester United is having is generating a shot. During the final 15 minutes of the first half, things started to click for Liverpool. 38 looked clean on the ball, making runs through the middle again along with Curtis Jones. The good build-up Liverpool had seemed to go through Harvey Elliott in some sort of way. The positioning of Harvey Elliott was like a floating 10 as he made space either high and wide or came short and tucked in through the middle. After another build-up through Elliott, the ball was kicked out and back, and then thrown up to Salah where he was able to make a touch, get around the defender, get down to the byline, throw in a great cross, where Curtis Jones was able to run and get in front of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and put the ball into the back of the net for 2-0. The role that Salah played in the goal is just like everything he's been doing the last few years. Making something out of nothing, turning defenders, getting in, making the good pass, and creating opportunity for the team. One thing to note is the role of Curtis Jones in this new system. Jones has a lot of flashes of Gini Wijnaldum, where he's making those deep runs, getting into the box late, and then cleaning up the pass when it comes through the box. The third goal for Liverpool also came off another great build-up. This one was creative with Jota getting a shot on the goal, ball sputtering out of Onana's hands, and Kostas Tsimikas was there to tap it in. The one thing to note with this attack under Slot is when a ball is shot, there's at least one or two people always breaking to the box in case something falls, which is exactly how Kostas scored his goal in this match, making the scoreline 3-0, and that is also how the match ended. The scoreline, however, did not tell how the match truly went. Manchester United outshot Liverpool 18-9 with 8 shots on target to the Liverpool's 5, and Liverpool also committed more fouls with 15 compared to the 8 by Manchester United. At the end of the day, you don't need to win pretty, you just need to win. I know it's early on in Slot's tenure, but the performance against Man United definitely needs to be shaped up, as you can count on other Premier League teams being able to capitalize on the issues and errors that they've caused early on in the match. Alright, keeping things moving, we're going to look at the Liverpool-Sevilla first game on Sunday. The starting lineup for Liverpool was the strongest lineup they've fielded so far this season. The only notable starter who I don't think was out there would be Robertson, but Kostas has been filling in for that left-back spot the entire time due to Robertson's injury. Alisson making his first appearance in goal, Kostas, Virgil also with his first appearance, Kwanzaa and Trent making his preseason debut as well. McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai in the middle, with Diaz on his first appearance, Jota and Salah leading the attack. It was very interesting to see how Slot lined up this first team, given that he had all players back. Notable, Cody Gakpo, who had a great Euros, was not included in this roster. He's going to be in the second matchup most likely. Darwin Núñez also did not get called up for this first matchup. Two other notable names that were left off of this first lineup include Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. They both played key parts on every team so far in the preseason during the USA Tour. With 5 of the starters making their preseason debut for Liverpool, it was definitely interesting to see how they would all work together. Diaz came out flying. He looked like he did not miss a beat. He's been in the system for a long time, and he hit the ground running. Playing on the left, Diaz in this system has a lot of free-flowing attack, moving at his own will, and being able to take on defenders one-on-one. A lot of the tactics to suck defenders in and get behind, I think is going to cause a lot of problems for Premier League defenders as Diaz strives in those one-on-one situations, making defenders guard him. Diaz was able to bag a brace in the match as his first one came where he did his typical get the ball, cut inside, top of the box, and absolutely rip one top shelf. Diaz always plays with confidence, and it's apparent when he takes defenders off one-on-one, has to flare touches, back heels, making defenders miss, dribbling around them. But in this attack, with people moving, being very fluid, I think it will give Diaz a lot of opportunity to create some space, start feeling himself, and let them rip. Diaz's first goal came at the 39-minute mark, and just before half, 7 minutes later, in stoppage time, Diaz was able to bag a second goal due to a great team play. The play started with Alisson sucking defenders in, getting the ball, taking a touch to the outside, and launching one to midfield, where Salah was able to touch the ball down to Jota. Jota then one-times the pass to Szoboszlai, who was making an overlapping run, hit him in stride. Szoboszlai got into the top of the box, passed it across to Diaz for an easy tap-in. That is the epitome of what you would see in a FIFA counter. It was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, credit all around on that play. Alisson having the confidence with the ball at his feet, launching it to Salah. Salah doing what he always does, back to defenders, wrestling, using his muscles, tapping the ball down, Jota being in the correct space to field the ball and hit Dominic Szoboszlai in transition. Szoboszlai in transition is scary. He's quick, the ball at his feet, he runs with pace, he's confident, he looks for the pass and sets up his teammates. The speed with Salah and Diaz on the wing, with what appears to have Jota being sucked in to pull the center backs up, is going to create a crazy and scary overlap that's going to have lots of levels for defenders to be able to try and defend. The thing that I like about Szoboszlai making that run compared to Salah, earlier in the matchup, Salah had a very similar opportunity where he decided to hold on to the ball just a tad too late after the goalie came out and did not get the easy pass to Jota, which could have been a brace for him. Szoboszlai, unless he's outside the box looking to rip one, he's always trying to set up the pass. Jota, playing in the middle, had another great game. The link of play with Jota, sucking in, finding his teammates, creating triangles, is very apparent that the center forward position under slot is going to be more link up and not get behind, which is the likes of what Darwin's been doing. Salah looked very aggressive out on the right wing. Part of this is caused by the new defensive build-up that Liverpool have been playing out of possession. 4-2-3-1 with Salah coming a little bit closer, receiving the ball a lot deeper up the pitch to be able to create spaces to get behind. A lot of times under Klopp, Salah would stay so high up the pitch that he didn't have a chance to get behind the defense. We've seen many times in this preseason so far, Salah doing either 1-2s or playing triangles to create space to get behind. Salah on the break is always dangerous, as we saw against Sevilla. He got back a couple times. One time he made the pass just a bit too late, the other time he had a good shot that was saved. But given the consistent output that Salah has had under the Klopp system, there was a bit of worries to see how he would fit so far in the new slot era, and everything tells that he's going to continue to be putting up the numbers that we're all used to seeing. Dominic Szoboszlai in the new system, when they are in transition, is being very effective. They're running on the ball, making the deep runs, and the passes that he's finding has been generating a lot of output. But the part that he is still struggling is when Liverpool are trying to kill the game or kill the ball with possession. He doesn't seem as comfortable. But that is the exact opposite when we talk about Alexis McAllister. McAllister does not do as well when Liverpool are in transition and he's providing the runs. He doesn't have as much pace and he's not as big to where he can fend off the defenders. McAllister strives in finding the tight spaces, getting the ball, finding the right passes, playing the link-ups, and getting things moving. I think the contrasting play styles of McAllister and Szoboszlai will be very effective in the midfield under the new slot system. The big question mark for Liverpool still currently would be the number 6 position, which is currently being filled by Gravenberch. The last 2 games, Gravenberch has been playing the 6 and honestly doing pretty well. Against Manchester United, he held his own, didn't do anything too bad, but didn't do anything too good at the same time. Against Sevilla, Gravenberch had a lot of good tracking back runs, playing passes, driving in the middle, and really holding up the attack from being able to get anything dangerous. Gravenberch is long and can make a lot of tackles in tight spaces, but that also calls for a bit of dangerous, as he can have some legs that stand out there to draw some PKs with the quick, shifty Premier League attackers. Even though Gravenberch is not a natural number 6, I do like seeing him out on the pitch, as he feels very natural out there, playing under the slot system, being very fluid moving, and keeping things going. As long as Liverpool can stay tight out of possession in their 4-2-3-1 that they've been currently doing, I don't think it's as dire need to have a number 6 that be able to come in to fill that hole, but time will tell. Trent was one that is going to be very interesting to see how he fits into the slot system. Under Klopp, he played a lot of getting up the flanks on the overlap. Near the end of his time with Klopp, he did some inverted. For England, he played at the midfield. So where exactly was Slot going to play him is the big question. Trent was all over the pitch. He was high, he was wide, he was inverted. Really, it made it hard to tell exactly what his true plan is going to be for the season, but maybe that's it. With how fluid and free-flowing Slot's system is, I think Trent's going to go where the ball needs him to go and create the opportunities that Liverpool need. Kwanzaa continues to play well as the right center back, but just like the Man United FA Cup game, he keeps having these small brain lapse, bonehead moments that creates opportunities. Against Manchester United in the FA Cup quarterfinal, he played the pass that went to nobody, where Bruno one-timed it from halfway out. In this game against Sevilla, Kwanzaa took a hard touch that created a counter and a good look that was airmailed over the goal. A lot of times you want to think Premier League players would be able to put that home. Liverpool would be down early, 1-0, within the opening 5 minutes. I know Kwanzaa's young, and he was playing at Bolton a few years ago, and now he's starting center back for Liverpool. But those moments are things that Liverpool cannot have if they want to continue to try and stay competitive and compete for titles. Looking over to Virgil, Virgil had another consistent performance. A little bit different than Klopp, he had the ball a lot more at his feet, sucking defenders in, to try and be able to get the build-up and attack going how Slot wants to play. Given that's not how Virgil's accustomed to playing, it'll be interesting to see Virgil on ball more, how that impacts his play style, and how it can impact his defense, knowing how important he is at that back line. Kostas, for 4th consecutive game, started at left back. Every game, Kostas looks a little bit more comfortable for Liverpool. He's still making a lot of good runs, inverted, he's making some overlapping runs, playing the right passes, taking some corner kicks. With Robbo coming back from an injury, I am confident with Kostas right now in his role and how he's performing in the slot system. The only notable issue that I remember from Kostas in his 4 matches was the one against Odegaard where he got absolutely turned to set up Arsenal's only goal. Alisson only played 45 minutes for Liverpool and had a super quiet half when it came to his defending abilities. Liverpool did not face any shots on target during Alisson's time on the pitch, but his biggest impact came from when Alisson sucked defenders in, kicked the ball up to Salah, where Salah tapped it down to Jota one time to Szoboszlai cut it across to Diaz for the easy tap in. I think that's going to be a lot more of what Liverpool are doing this year, sucking defenders in, creating those one-on-one chances for their front line to win the ball to one of the players near them, play the overlap, and create the opportunity to get the easy goals. It's a high-risk, high-reward tactic because if Liverpool do not win the ball in the air and get it to their teammate, the other team is picking the ball up in the final third and ready to pounce again. One substitute appearance that I do want to highlight is Trey Naoni. Trey came on and had another instant impact in the game. His time on the pitch during this preseason has been very apparent and he's making a name for himself. Trey has done nothing but give Slot a reason to play him when he's looking for a sub. In this game, Trey came on and hit an absolute screamer for a goal. One-time volley outside the box. After scoring, Trey acted like he's been there, done that. No celebrations, tapped his teammates on the head. The captain Virgil grabbed him and pushed him back toward the cop end where he could celebrate in front of the fans. It appears Liverpool have a nice gem in Trey Naoni, who could be making a name for himself as the season progresses and be an instant impact for Liverpool's team. The final from the opening match against Sevilla was Liverpool 4, Sevilla 1. Sevilla's only goal came off a player making something out of nothing, getting a little bit of space, and scoring an absolute banger from outside the box. Liverpool controlled the game with 57% possession, having almost 600 passes, 89% accuracy, 12 shots, and 9 on target. It's promising to see how many shots on target they had and how many they ended up scoring. Looking to the second match of the day of Liverpool versus Las Palmas, that game had a little bit less excitement. The game ended 0-0. Liverpool had 61% possession, 16 shots, 6 on target, to Sevilla having 6 shots and only 3 on target. Liverpool still fielded a strong lineup. They had Gakpo, Nunez, and Ben Doak across the top, with Jones, Elliott, and Endo in the middle, Bradley, Konate, Phillips, and Robertson playing on the back line, with Kelleher in goal. Liverpool's only shining moment came when Darwin ended up scoring a goal that got ruled off due to being offsides. Darwin, Gakpo, and Robertson all made their first appearances of the preseason. Robertson got subbed off in the 61st minute to where Gakpo and Nunez came off in the 67th minute. The interesting thing is Sepp Vandenberg did not feature in either match. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with him possibly getting transferred out or the fact that Slot already knows what he's seen in Sepp. He wants to give other people an opportunity to assess the squad. As things currently stand, taking a look at the roster, for goalkeeping, Liverpool have Alisson, Kelleher, and Jaros as the 3 main options. Alisson is the clear-cut number 1. There's a lot of controversy around Kelleher as being reported that he may be on the move. So Jaros is the number 2, and what he's shown so far, it's a little bit unknown as he hasn't had any real opportunities. In the previous years during the cup games when Kelleher had to play, or last year when Alisson was injured and Kelleher got a long stint of games, you feel confident knowing the backup is Kelleher. With Jaros, we just don't know that. We don't know if he can live up to how Alisson and Kelleher has been playing, but time will tell when his opportunity is given. At left back, there are really only 2 options right now, Robertson and Kostas Tsimikas. Given Robertson's injury, Kostas is probably going to be the clear-cut number 1 to start the season. Robertson, I don't think, has the legs or the body, given the play style that he's always accustomed to being an everyday starter and one that you can rely on to do what Robertson's always done. Which I think is a shame because Robertson's been fantastic, always has the Energizer Bunny work rate, but his body at his age and how much he's putting the miles on is just not living up to what he needs and what Liverpool need him to do. Right now, the clear options at center back are Virgil, Konate, Kwanzaa, and Sepp Vandenberg. Konate and Kwanzaa are the clear right center back positions. Virgil is the left center back. Sepp would be there, but there's also controversy around if he's going to stay or go, as he's been very vocal early on about wanting to leave. Looking at right back, you have Trent and Connor Bradley. Trent is the clear-cut number 1, as Trent was injured last year for an extended period of time, just like with Kostas and Kelleher. When the backup came in, which was Connor Bradley, he came in, he did great, and Liverpool really didn't miss a beat, which is promising as a backup. For the defense, that just really leaves you with Joe Gomez. Just like last season under Klopp, I think Joe Gomez is going to be the floater for the left back, center back, and right back when it comes to rotation. All the reports have said Joe Gomez almost left Liverpool for $45 million in a transfer swap with Newcastle that would bring in Anthony Gordon. For this season along the back line, there's a lot of question marks between Nat Phillips, who I have not mentioned, Sepp Vandenberg, and Joe Gomez on whether they will all be here as the season progresses or not. Looking at Liverpool in the number 6 position, currently they have Endo, who is the true number 6. They've got Gravenberch, who's kind of been playing that, McAllister, who played that out of position last year under Klopp. Curtis Jones has also featured in that position during the preseason matchups, as well as Dominic Szoboszlai for one match against Arsenal. And the other two players on Liverpool's roster who were kind of a natural number 6 is the young Tyler Morton, who was on loan last year at Hull City, and Stefan Bajcetic, who didn't feature almost at all last season for Liverpool. The only other midfield player that Liverpool have on their roster that did not feature in number 6 position is Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott's kind of been the true blend of a midfielder and right wing. He plays high, he can go wide if Salah needs a rest or is injured, or he plays inside the middle, where he's featured for most of the preseason, and a lot of times this season he's featured as a 10 or alongside a double 10. Looking at the left wing position, Liverpool have Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, and Darwin, who can all play that position. Though you would like to think Diaz and Gakpo are the two main options that'll be on the left wing. Jota and Darwin are the two main center forwards that Liverpool will probably be fielding this season with. And then looking at right wing, Salah is the only true natural right wing, though when he was injured last year, there were moments of Jota playing out in the right wing as well as Diaz. When looking at Liverpool players who have been constantly talked about in the rumor mill, which I don't want to get too much into, Joe Gomez, Sepp Vandenberg, Endo had some bids for him, Diaz is constantly being talked about, and Kelleher. If Liverpool were to lose any more of those players, you would have to think that they would want to backfill those, as the lineup is already thin, do not have a lot of depth, and Liverpool are competing in all 4 competitions, and this year back in the Champions League level. Liverpool have been involved in one permanent transfer so far, but that was outgoing with Fabio Carvalho. Fabio has left for Brentford on a permanent transfer for $27.5 million and a 17.5% sell-on clause if he were to be sold. Not only is it a bit concerning that Liverpool are the only team in Europe's top 5 leagues who have not made an incoming signing, but Liverpool also have Virgil, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Salah, who are all in the final years of their contract, which are big question marks on how that will play out. No transfer activity and 3 of their key players being on the final year of their contract is very concerning heading into the winter windows. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with FSG and their new management structure, but one thing that I do know is the team needs reinforcements, and you've had multiple players with the likes of the captain Virgil saying that we need more signings. You've got Wataru Endo, who's the only true number 6 on the roster, coming out saying that they need to sign some other ones as he's 31. I mean, I definitely could be wrong, but for me, if you're Salah, Virgil, and Trent, who are key catalysts and part of the team, if they're not willing to reinforce in the roster, show that you're there to compete and invest, I don't see anything that shows motivation that Virgil, Salah, or Trent should resign. They're showing that they don't invest in the squad, they have the players they have, they will burn them into the ground. And they are just going to take every ounce of money out of the club that they can to be profitable. And that really sucks because Liverpool has been that close for so long. And a simple investment here and there to refresh the squad, give a little bit of extra depth, could easily have turned into a few more Premier League titles or Champions League. There was one player who Liverpool were actively in the market on that was reported by everybody, including Fabrizio, and that is Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. For the last few weeks, they've been in contact with him. He verbally committed as a yes. Liverpool thought everything was going to come through, and then at the last hour, Real Sociedad was able to convince Zubimendi to stay at his boyhood club. For me personally, it sucks because Liverpool could have really used him as a number 6, and he would have been a great addition to the club. But you have to applaud the fact that he's staying at his boyhood club. He is turning down an offer to play in the Premier League with Liverpool for a lot more money than what Real Sociedad is going to do to stay at his boyhood club. Yes, it does suck. I do understand how fans can get upset with the fact that he turned back on his word, but he didn't turn back on his word and go to a different team. He's staying at the only club he's ever known. I don't know how that's any different than what Liverpool tried to do to Caicedo last year or 2 years ago, what they tried to do with Luis Diaz in Tottenham. It's the same thing, it's just it didn't happen in their favor, and now all fans are calling out. I think it's a bit ridiculous on how they're acting with it. You should be more upset with FSG and their lack of involvement, as there's no way Zubimendi is the only number 6 out there on the market that could increase Liverpool and make them better. Looking over to Ipswich Town, they played 3 preseason matches. They opened up with a 2-1 loss to Dusseldorf at the end of July. August 3rd, they played Hoffenheim they had a 1-0 win. Saturday, August 10th, they had a 1-0 win against Nice. The first preseason match for Ipswich against Dusseldorf should not be too surprising that they lost, even though Dusseldorf is in the second tier. The player arrivals for Dusseldorf started earlier than Ipswich Town, as their season starts earlier. The matchup against Ipswich for Dusseldorf was their final preseason matchup before the season began. On the opposite side, Ipswich, that was their first. So to be able to lose to them 2-1 and then turn it around against mid-table Nice and Hoffenheim is good promise for them starting their season. Looking ahead to the Liverpool vs. Ipswich first game, Saturday morning, 12:30 kickoff, my projected lineup for Liverpool will be Alisson at goal. Tsimikas will be starting at left back, with Virgil as the left center back. Kwanzaa will be the right center back, and Trent will be the right back. Gravenberch will be heading up the number 6 position, Callister on the left, Szoboszlai on the right. Luis Diaz will be starting at the left wing, Jota in the middle at center forward, and Salah on the right wing, which means Liverpool will come out in the exact lineup they had for their last preseason friendly against Sevilla. And I'm projecting Slot will use all 5 subs as players are still getting up to fitness. And in no particular order, I have Luis Diaz that will be coming off for Cody Gakpo. Jota will be coming off for Darwin Núñez. McAllister will be coming out for Curtis Jones. Szoboszlai will be coming out for Harvey Elliott. And the last sub that I have will depend on how the match is going, and it'll be Gravenberch coming out for Wataru Endo or Costas coming out for Andy Robertson. My prediction is going to be a 3-1 Liverpool win. In no particular order, I have Dominic Szoboszlai, Mohamed Salah, and Virgil, who will be scoring the goals. To go along with the 3-1 win, I think Liverpool are going to score early. Ipswich is going to get one back near halftime. Around the 60-minute mark, Liverpool will get their second. As Ipswich is pushing for the equalizer, I think Liverpool will get a goal in around the 80th minute to put the game to bed and bring home all 3 points. I think that'll just about do it for today's episode. As we begin to get into the swing of the season, I think the episodes will have a little bit more structure with how they go. The episodes are more than likely going to be recorded in 2 steps. Step 1 will be after Arne Slot's pre-match press conference, where I'll break down what he said, what I think, and my prediction heading into the matchup. Part 2 is going to involve talking about the match itself, the post-match press conferences, any notable injuries, any notable signings until the window closes, and departures. Thanks again for using your time to tune into Slaughter Talk. My name is Wilfred, and remember, up the Reds.